everybody, welcome back to PSGL. George Morgan here and Jack Bennett. All the lights are currently lit here on track, and it is go, go, go! Ganoso with a crafty manoeuvre up the inside. Masterclass from the Chilean.
Crucial championship points on offer here.
Do not count down Danny Berezne.
Longe has done the job. This is for the win between these two.
Freddie Rasmussen wins the United States Grand Prix.
Alfie Butcher wins for the first time ever. Lucas Blakely takes the championship. It's Barry Foreman.
Jarno Opmeer is your champion.
And a big welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to PSGL F1. We have returned for what is a bit of a different Grand Prix. It's the Monaco Grand Prix coming up later this evening. Some might love it, some might hate it. That division is evident even in the commentary box tonight. As alongside me is Mr. James Head. James, it's good to be back.
It is good to be back. Yeah, this track Monaco, I've got to be honest, is a bit like Nutella. You either love it or you hate it, or you've been a Norwich City fan. I can't think what's worse, to be honest. But we are here tonight. We are back for round number 6 of the season. It is Monaco. I've had an experience of actually commentating around here in Monaco, so I actually know roughly what to expect. And that means it's going to be close qualifying. Whoever qualifies on the front row of the grid is likely to win this race. It is a different test, but it's not the first time that we've actually had it on this game, because we had it back in season 36.
I'm catching shade out of absolute nowhere to start the stream, but I digress. In terms of things that are close, the EFL Championship being one of them, in terms of other championships that are close, the PSGL F1 Championship, and my goodness me, are things close heading into this evening's proceedings. 3 points separates the top 2, 4 points separates the top 3, 8 points separates the top 4, and it well and truly is a 4-horse race here for the title, James.
It is, and then there's a big Grand Canyon chasm between 4th and 5th at 38 points, which has just come to show how the top 4 have been consistent this season. Matteo taking 2 wins to his name, 3 podiums in total. Rennes taking 4 podiums in total, including 1 win last week, of course, in Qatar. Oscar picking up 3 podiums, with 2 second-place finishes for his name recently. And Cameron Dowds picking up 4 podiums, plus a race win, of course, in America. It is really, really strong this season. The front 4 are absolutely running away with things, which is a good thing if you're us and you're die-hard PSF1 commentators like me, who's been here for 5 seasons. This is, so far, the most competitive season we've had. It might be.
Is that more shit? My goodness me. Okay. Let's continue on track then, of course. And we have the Monaco Grand Prix coming up this evening. Interesting enough, James, is we've not had a repeat winner so far. We have had 5 different winners in 5 races. And Monaco can be one where you might just get a surprise winner. So we could go 6 for 6, and that is such an exciting prospect.
It is an exciting prospect, and it is going to be very interesting, I think, to see what was going on. I just had to look at my screen there because I thought it was raining. It's not. It is very cloudy that I can report out on track. But the top 4 have absolutely dominated so far. As you say, 5 wins between the front 4. In fact, Mateo's the one that's only picked up 2 wins this season out of the top 4. Is it somebody else's turn? The likes of Rayen, the likes of Barak have done well around here in the past. Max von der Geest as well. Or is it going to be Rennes Thomason's day, or Matteo, Oscar, Cameron Dowds? The list goes on and on. But what I can definitely say around this track, anything can happen in Formula 1, and it usually does.
Yes, can anyone refill the boots of Olivier Panis when he won with only 3 finishers? Can anyone maybe have a classic drive like Ayrton Senna back in his Tolman days? Of course, didn't get the win that day, but it was an impressive drive. He won the 1987 Monaco Grand Prix, however, in the Lotus. Can anyone repeat maybe some greatness from Daniel Ricciardo back in 2018, where even with some engine issues, he was able to take the win on that day? We hope it's not something similar to some of the previous Monaco Grand Prix, where it is a little bit processional. Something of the 2022 standard would be nice. First man out on track for qualifying is TF10 Dirk, as per tradition this season here in season 38 of PSF1. He's been the first man out for qualifying for quite some time. Dirk was putting in the laps about 2 weeks ago, so we expect him to be competitive here. Was quite competitive back in his F2 title winning season. Won on track, lost it in a penalty count, I believe. But we'll see how he can perform tonight. Qualifying, James, I think we'll agree, almost more important than the race.
It is definitely more important than the race. Dirk is on the run down in towards turn number 1. Casper Flack, like the flash that he is, he's gone past him on the run through turn number 1. Through Sander Bot, Dirk nearly hitting the wall there on the outside line. Now coming up Massenet in towards Casino Square at turn number 4. This car is all over the shop. I can honestly say that coming to the first sector. Dirk is absolutely on ropes. 18.2 in the first sector. You'd expect 17.9, 17.8 in the first sector as we go through the session. Dirk now coming in through the Grand Hotel hairpin, then in towards the right hand of Memorable Bass. Then down in towards Portier, where Button and Verline famously had contact, I think, in 2016 around here, if I'm not mistaken. Dirk now on the run, now down through the tunnel section, in towards the Navel chicane, and this is a very tricky part of the track. It looks like, though, he might have backed off because he has gone back to 100%. He has backed off coming through this middle sector. Casper Flack, though, is on a lap coming through this middle sector. Just need to give me time to go, but he's also invalidated just through the swimming pool section with a 50.1 in that middle sector. Coming through now, Raskas, what would have been from Casper Flack, coming through the right-hander now of turn number 19 at Anthony Norge on the run toward the line, would have been a 107.336. Expect drivers to factor in the 106s, I think.
Yeah, as Cameron Dowds goes quickest, that lap with TF10 Dirk, and on honesty, looked like I was watching a historic Colin McRae lap around Monaco. That was all over the shop. Azim goes to third, Max van der Geest did second, and the times are trickling over now. Shazoo Oscar exits Anthony Nose and comes towards the start finish line. Here is the Mercedes man, and he will just be shy of Ola Kongan, his teammate. He goes to fourth. Rayan there in second. There's still a lot more drivers to finish their laps. Barak being one of them, heading through Anthony Nose now. Has Marios to Cypriot very close behind. Both these tracking well. Well, Barak actually isn't tracking well. He's 18 seconds down. Marios is, however, and it will be 11th spot. So had a bit of a problem in the final sector, it seems. Bounces across the curbing at the first corner. TF10 Dirk will knock at a second attempt on the board. He invalidated. Ryder Dahl won a few. Still on a push lap as we ride on board with the Aston Martin heading through Casino Square.
Yeah, looking really good actually, Rotterdam now running down into the right-hander of Mirabeau. 18.1 in the first sector, runs very wide though, coming through Mirabeau, through into the Grand Hotel hairpin. You can Tokyo Drift coming through this. Very difficult from Rotterdam to actually get a Tokyo Drift in there. Now coming through the right-hander of Portier on the run now through the tunnel. The three looking definitely good. 17th at this moment in time. Matteo, Barak and Casper Flack, by the way, have all gone again on their runs. So it'll be very interesting to see how they go on out on track. In fact, Casper Flack retired as actually came into the pit lane. Rotterdam's middle sector is a 50.1, so pretty much bang up there where you expect to be in this first sector. Matteo, though, once again, goes quicker, 107.2, so that might be, oh my god, Rotterdam sends it through Raskas, sends it into the pit lane straight away. Not surprised if you're getting completely right-sided coming through the right-hander of Raskas. If you do that, and you've got skill level like Rotterdam's just done, put it this way, he deserves to be front row of the grid.
Yeah, you can tell he's Swedish, because that's a Scandi flick if I've ever seen one. I know that originated in Finland, but all the Scandinavian drivers like to bang that one out anytime they can. Matteo went again, Barak went again, they went 1-2. So, a second lap on the tyres seems to be quicker than the first. That's an interesting conundrum for these guys to try solve in the remaining 12.5 minutes of this session. Tales, the brilliant Brazilian, has gone again in the McLaren and taps the wall a little bit heading through to back. Is 1.1 down on the lap, however. The interesting thing is, ghosting, of course, turned off, as it has been in all PSGL qualifying sessions so far this season. So you get situations like this, where they're both lapping similar.
Yeah, very interesting first sector from Ren Thomason. On board with them now. 17.9 in this first sector. Really, really quick through this first sector. Now coming through the middle sector, coming through Portier. Really looking absolutely on the limit, on the ropes. This could be a man that is determined for pole position. He is there in the pole pool coming into tonight. Barack is also in there, to be fair. I must be the only one that's voted for him right now there in the pole pool in second position. Currently in qualifying, Renz Thomas in the middle sector. 49.6 in the middle. Are you kidding me? It's really, really quick. Absolutely flies it through the swimming pool section. And is absolutely on the limit, but he's gone wide there coming through Raskas. Now in toward Anthony Norge. That now tries to get him on the run toward the line. Should still be quicker, I think, for Renz Thomason. 107 flat, and he made a mistake at Raskas.
Yeah, that's an absolute crap final sector, and he's still a tenth of a second ahead. So that's a man with pace, and that is a man with full confidence, especially in that middle sector. Tabak was just beautiful. Swimming pool chicane, just beautiful. We need to keep an eye on him throughout the remaining 11 minutes. Here's Cameron Dowd heading up the hill for the first time. Beau Rivage in towards Massenet. Let's see what the Alpine can do. Cameron, not necessarily been a top performer in qualifying, but that all goes out the window once you get to Monaco, because Monaco qualifying is just a test of man and machine. Who has the most bravery, who has the most confidence, who's willing to risk everything they have for one measly tenth of a second. And Cameron Dowd rounds through the right-hander in towards the tunnel. You don't get the bright shock coming out of the tunnel that you used to get in older Formula 1 games, thankfully, as Cameron, very heavy into the swimming pool. That'll be that.
Yeah, too heavy into the swimming pool. Invalidated coming through there. He was 400 down and Renz actually through the first sector. Was 200 up on his own time, so probably would have gone quicker than Barack. But, of course, he's made that mistake coming through the swimming pool section, and then that puts him down in fourth and down against the Vanguard, because Rayen is looking really quick right now. 49.8 in the middle sector. Not on par compared to Renz, about a tenth and a half down. Really clipping the curve there coming through the swimming pool. Rayen is looking good. Casper Flack, though, was retired. Actually, coming, I think, through the right-hander of Anthony Norge. There he is on the inside line. Coming through Anthony Norge. A very weird collision there. Obviously, he's clipped the inside wall, I think, as Rayen there goes third ahead of Barack. Very good lap time there from the French Algerian. Oscar there, one of the main title contenders, goes second. And then Mateo flies in there, goes third. He's going again, it seems. Renz Noel on top. Oscar there in second. Mateo there in third. Nazim there for each eight. The Turkish man there in fourth.
Yeah, no improvement there for Alpha Gully, as that is Casper Flack's second qualifying retirement in 2 races. Crashed out very early on in Qatar for the or at the Lusail International Circuit. Came back to get a points finish. It's going to be a little bit more difficult here in Monaco. And with no lap on the board, you would think he will start last. He's got to try pull something out with the strategy there, without question. Here's your championship leader, or Mateo, in towards the swimming pool. You can see he takes a different approach than Cameron Dowds took. A little bit quick on the power, on the loud pedal. And you can see the rear stepping out, 0.3 of a second up. This is an absolute beauty so far from Matteo, and the Italian flicking it through the streets of Monte Carlo. Ferrari, of course, a team that have always done well here traditionally. There's a little bit of a road blockage, a little bit of a traffic jam, and here comes Matteo towards the start-finish line. Without question, goes quickest, 1:06.9. That is an absolute astonishing lap time.
And I think he clipped the wall with his rear left tyres. Barack there goes second, just filtering in behind as well. I think he clipped the rear, the left-hand side wall coming out through the swimming pool section with his rear left tyre. Very, very unsure on that, but it definitely looked like, you mentioned he had like a little bit of a flick or a moment. I thought he clipped the wall very, very slightly, but it was enough to just send him offline a little bit. If that gets ironed out, it's only going to be 100th of a second that he gains, so it's not really going to impact anything else. But the Italian stalling out on top. Barack there in second. Renz Thomason there in third. Marios has just improved, I think, to fifth. The Cypriot, 107.201. He is not going for another lap at this moment in time, which means everyone is quiet right now. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. Cameron's dad saying, let's go, son. And then Tropic saying, let's go, Alpha. Alpha Gully, currently there in 13th. Needs to spread his wings a little bit.
Had a good showing last time out in Qatar, though. Didn't get the result he deserved, I felt, but had some strong running. And really, if you are that's Ryan, my goodness me, that is a boomerang heading through sector number 1, left and right, and without question 0.9 of a second down. But yeah, Alpha Gully had one of his stronger showings in PSGL, I thought, James.
Yeah, to be honest, he has had a really decent showing so far this season. I mean, the standings really don't tell a real different picture. He's there 12th position at this moment in time. 7th position, though, last time out in Qatar. Ran a very, very I can't even speak. Rent a very good race. The Belgian Grand Prix as well finished 9th there, so he's picked up his points from there. Cameron Dowds, by the way, 17.9 in the first sector. Be interesting to see what he does in this middle sector. Looks like he's actually backed off, so Cameron Dowds not going, it seems, might be going for another one like Matteo has done so far in this. The Flying Scotsman, they're down in 9th position currently on. Tom Roberts saying who put Max von der Geese in the pole pool? Me. He looked decent on his first run, and now he's down in 12th, so it makes me think, yeah, James hasn't got this right, and he's not being Mystic James like he normally is.
Yeah, he's been Mystic James once, I think, but sure, look, we'll keep the nickname stick. Just for clarification on our poll, that's done by James every week, so you can flame him as you so wish to. Rens Thomason, once again, has a spring in his step, and he is chucking this piece of metal around Monaco, and that is a 106.8. Oh, this is just insane. I tell you what, in all honesty, I could just watch these guys do qualifying laps all day, because they're not even making errors. I might live to regret that, but they're not even making errors.
I've just seen an error from Cameron Downs coming through the right-hander of the left-hander of the Grand Hotel hairpin. Got it completely offline. Coming to the Grand Hotel hairpin, made that mistake, so the Alpine there not going to be improving. I don't think he's flinging it though through the swimming pool section. If this is still up, I'd be absolutely, really impressed and really surprised. He's a 10.5 up.
Oh. Can you believe it?
How?
This is the magic of Monte Carlo. Cameron Dowds, even with an absolute disaster, is still millimetre perfect, and he was so good heading for the Rascat. Exits Anthony Knows nicely as well. Dowds to the line, second row, not quite in the same stratosphere as Rens and or Matteo, and he's beaten by his teammate. Azim goes to third, standing in for Tom Roberts. Excellent qualifying from the Turkishman.
Yeah, I think Azim is now full-time, if I'm not mistaken, in the Alpine as well.
Oh, he is, sorry.
Tom Roberts, who is the reserve. Matteo, 17.9 in the first sector, 500s down in that first sector split. Through the Grand Hotel hairpin, really flinging it. Not like Cameron Dowds, where he got completely 180 all out of shape.
You should have just seen what Azim's done. He just full on WRC style through the hairpin. That was quite interesting. I'd love to see someone do that in the race. I think that could be very funny.
Matteo's still on this run, though, for the swim pool section. Doesn't clip the wall on the left-hand side this time. Looks like he's going to be good through the middle sector. Is he improving, though? No. 3/10 down. Makes a mistake coming through to back as well. So that is him done for this lap. I would bail on this. Try and wait again. Maybe go for 2 runs later on the session. Ren's out on top, though. Matteo second. Azim third. Then Cameron Dowds in fourth. Barak, however, was improving, but he is down on his run once again. The Spaniard is 1.5 seconds down the middle sector, so not improving. Dirk goes third, though.
Yeah, Dirk has jumped the 2 Alpines, so he goes to third. And Dirk, I tell you what, is having a good showing. He is performing as well as his old teammate, or Matteo. We have 4 drivers within 1/10 of a second here at the Monaco Grand Prix, albeit 3.337 kilometers and only 19 corners, not as long as maybe Saudi Arabia or the likes. But it is so difficult to be that close here in Monaco. I think we've seen more dominant pole positions in Monte Carlo in league racing history than any other circuit, because you usually just get that one driver who excels here. But no, we have a nice close bunch.
Barak, oh, absolutely brilliant coming through the Grand Hotel hairpin. That is how you Tokyo Drift coming through there. Now coming through the right-hander through Portier, even in toward the tunnel now. Barak is up on his time. He's definitely going to be up, I think, in this middle sector, as long as he can nail this Nivelle chicane, which is really tricky even for me at the best of times, because I've hit that inside wall plenty of times, and I've just commentated his curse Barak as he invalidates on the right-hand side this time on the curb. Would have been a 49.5, though, even with the use of the walls in the middle sector.
Yes, it would have been, and Barak is going to have to head back to the pit lane. You can get plenty of time here in Monaco. Obviously, it's only about a minute a lap. We've 18 minutes to the session, so plenty of time to recoup and get back out on the circuit, as has Cameron Dowds, as has Max von der Geest, as has Matteo, and there's a lot more following as well. And this really could be an absolute barnstormer to complete the session.
Definitely so. Volokongan, I think, is just first to set up on his run. Is he going to do the Matteo strat, or is he just going to go for 1 run and then have done with it? He might try and go 1 run and have done with it. Down into the right-hand turn number 1. Probably missing up the pit entry there, just in front. One of the McLarens ahead. Volokongan now coming up in towards Massenet, now in towards Casino Square, turn number 4, and he's definitely looking better on this run than he has done so far in all of his runs previously. Volokongan 18 flat in the first sector. 300's down, but it looked good to me.
Missed the apex slightly at Casino Square, tapped the exit wall just a little bit. It's hard criticism from me, but it is a loss of lap time nonetheless from the Norwegian. That was decent through there, decent run in through the tunnel, hopefully as a consequence of that. Let's see how he nails the braking for the Nouvelle chicane, I should say, not the swimming pool chicane. Yeah, nice through there, not a bad job from Volakonga so far.
Yeah, really looking on the limit, coming out through Tabaki. 700's down though in the middle sector again. Just not finding the time, it seems, on this run, unless he's got a miracle final sector. This is going to be a very big lap coming in. Cameron Dowds, by the way, is coming through the first sector now, so I'll update you on him very shortly indeed. Volakonga now coming through the right-hander, though, on the final run to the line. Goes a 10th and a half up, found a lot of time in that final sector. That's where it came from. Cameron Dowds is up in the first sector, though.
Oh, Cameron Dowds could be here to deliver, and remember, we got to keep an eye on Matteo as well, who is heading in towards the final sector, but Cameron is really making Monaco quake in its boots right now. Fantastic heading through the Nouvelle chicane. Now what's to back like? Oh, incredible. Taps the outside wall slightly. He is down marginally on his time, needs to try deliver. Matteo, his day is done. He won't get another unless he has the battery to save. We need to keep an eye on Renz Tomasin as well. We'll try go on board with him. Cameron Dowds exiting for the final corner now towards the start finish line. Is it enough for pole position for the Alpine? No, doesn't improve. What about Renz Tomasin? He's been the man to beat all day so far. In towards Casino Square, exiting, avoids the bump on the left hand side of the circuit, braking for Mirabeau. Halt improves 0.011. Now it's the Grand Hotel hairpin, formerly known as Lowe's hairpin, of course. Then it's in towards Lower Mirabeau, down towards Portier. This has been really, really good so far from Renz Tomasin. The tunnel is next. You've just got to hope and pray you have enough grip to get through here flat, although thankfully all modern day Formula 1 cars do not struggle with that. Then it is the Nouvelle chicane. Renz Tomasin, oh, that's so nice through there, and he really is excelling on this lap. To back is next, avoids the wall on the outside. Then it's the swimming pool chicane. He's a little bit down. It's all pushed through here. Oh, that's incredible. What about the Raskas? Yeah, nice through there, not quite pushing the margins. Anthony Knows pushes on the exit. Is it magic in Monaco from Renz Tomasin across the line? It is! Wow. It's improvement, and it is without question pole position for the Monaco Grand Prix.
Or is it? Because Rayen is a 49.5 in the middle sector, and the TF10 man all of a sudden looking good. He makes a mistake, though, coming through the swim pool section. Has to absolutely now fly. Coming through Raskas, through Anthony Norwich. That's where Ren's made a mistake. Rayen didn't. Rayen now on the run to line, the French Algerian. Does he go pole? Oh! Yes, he does. 106.799. 1400ths quicker than Renz Tomasin. In the end, Rayen steals it and nicks it at the death, unless there's improvements coming from further down. Brando Alpha Gully, Tale's not running. Rayen has done it again. He nicks it at the line. 108.7, a 10th and a half up in that middle sector was the difference. In the end, he lost a bit of time, but Rayen out on top. 1400ths of a second. Renz Tomasin will not be wanting to hit that wall at Antinoche again.
How dare I question the king of qualifying? How dare I? I was bowing his honour, because that is a piece of brilliance. That is the Monaco magic. Forget about that Dutchman. My goodness me, did Rayan do everything to steal pole. And he is on pole, ahead of Renz Tomasin in second. Then it is Matteo, Oscar, Dirk Azim, Cameron Dowds, Barak, Ryder Dow, Max von der Geest, Marios, Volakongen. Then it is Enelor Ryan ahead of Mustache in 14. Poor Mustache, don't think we said his name once. Then it was Tales, Alpha Gully, Brando, Hazara and Casper Flack. Folks, we'll be back in a couple of moments to debunk qualifying. And a big welcome back, folks. Monaco Grand Prix qualifying. Very, very entertaining. I'm going to be positive here and hopefully say the race is just as good.
I hope the race is just as good as well, because that was an absolute barnstorming qualifying session in the end. Rayen topping the session, Renz Thomason in second, 14 hundredths of a second in the end, separating them. It was a 107.799, 107.813 for both of them out there in front. Really strong qualifying indeed from Rayen. I did toy the idea, I'd be honest, of putting Barak in over Rayen, and I wish I didn't now because Rayen has taken pole and Barak qualified, I think, down in 8th or 9th position. So just comes to show even the best get it wrong.
Speaking of the best, James, would you agree that it's difficult to take a podium here at Monaco?
Have I taken a podium at Monaco? No, so I can't comment on that.
It is, because I've been there, done that, and bought the t-shirt. PSGL champion, we're running it back again. Let's take a look at this Monaco Grand Prix circuit, however. 3.337 kilometres, 19 corners, 8 to the left and 11 to the right. Why do we race around a street circuit at the south of France? Well, the idea for the Grand Prix came from Anthony Knowles himself, the president of the Monegasque Motor Club. The circuit building, well, it only takes about 6 weeks, which seems significantly less than all the other circuits, but that's because they have to do it every single year. Revision of the circuit has happened a few times. In 1986, the chicane area of the port was modified and made slower. That's, of course, now the Nouvelle Chicane, a big talking point in our qualifying session. Then the revision of the pit lane in 2004 makes Monaco the only pit lane where the garages do not face the track. It's the only Formula 1 circuit where the garages are facing the opposite way to the main straight. There's been a couple of crackers here in previous years, James, and especially in PSGL, we've had some big-time performances, specifically from controller players, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, specifically from controller players in particular, and Flopman, of course, took the race win. Unbelievable to say the name of him winning around here in Monaco. Yeah, Flopman won around here 2 seasons back.
Can I just say it's unbelievable just saying his name on a PSGL stream, because that doesn't happen an awful lot anymore.
It doesn't. He's not racing this season, so that's why we can mention him in this mantra anyways. He took the win, though, out on top. I think it was 0.3 of a second in the end between him and Cameron towards the end of the race. Renz Thomason finished in third. There was about 2.5 seconds, I think, covering the top 3 in the end. But we have had a very good roll of honour in the past. Louis Valentin taking the win in season 32 from Tom Roberts and Tyler Hardy. Tom, of course, the experience not coming into play here tonight because he's not even racing. Matthew Alder in season 30 taking the win from Ismail Fassi and Philip Wouters there in third. Season 27 was Wilson Hughes taking it from Suso and Sam Corby, finishing up in the top 3. Lickle Blocks took the win. That's a name from past year in PSF1.
Wow.
From Casper Jensen, the VSR man himself, and Francis Begin, who's now part of the Ferrari esports lineup in iRacing, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. He's there in third. And then, season 22, people forget he was on PlayStation. Jana Watmere took the win from Big C, the big man himself, in second, and Sam Corby finishing in third. Some of these names are marvellous.
Season 22, I think it was about 4 years old then, but that's besides the point. Jana Watmere taking the win. I remember one of the big performances around was, remember during lockdown, F1 did this kind of like pro series or something. I remember Lucas Blakely absolutely cooking around here in the racing point. That was my first exposure to the Scotsman. But we'll talk no more about the PC world. We'll talk no more about previous races. Let's look at tonight. And Rayhan, the king of qualifying, as I like to call him, but he needs to kind of become the Prince of Monaco because 4 poles last season, no race wins. This is his second pole this season. Could do it taking a race win, maybe, James?
Definitely could, because he has a lot of confidence in qualifying. We've seen that tonight, going pole position ahead of Renz Thomason, who is a title contender coming in tonight, remember, as well. So Rayen just needs to, I think, assure himself that he is good around this track. He just needs to treat, I think, every lap like a qualifying lap. It's the best, it's the worst of times that you can have, because there's 39 laps around here, 3.3 kilometres in each lap. There's so many obstacles in the way, quite literally obstacles with metal barriers in the way in the Vel Chicane. Everything going on in this. This is what makes Monaco, I think, really, really good. And of course, they've signed their new contract that's been kept in, I think, till 2030, if I'm not mistaken, recently. So Monaco going to be on the F1 calendar. It's a historic part of the Triple Crown as well with Le Mans and indeed with IndyCar. So coming into tonight, we're going to have our own version of the Triple Crown. Whether Rayen, though, can do that Triple Crown, or the Grand Slam as I call it, pole position, fastest lap, race win. That's what he needs to try and do. I have a feeling, though, he's not going to.
Let's let him try and win the race first before we talk about a Grand Slam. One thing that can disrupt, of course, the flow of a Monaco Grand Prix is strategy, and that's really how most of the overtaking is going to get done. James, what can these guys do different to try and get a better result from where they qualified?
Pit in earlier, get track position. I think that is going to be really important, I think, around a track like this. If most people that I'm thinking are going to start on a set of hard compound tyres, they can last beyond the halfway stage very easily indeed. Or they could go what I saw in WRLC Division. I'm just going to name drop them once. In that race, I saw drivers going from a set of hards, maybe even to a set of softs towards the end of the race. The softs are actually not too bad around this track. So there are different strategies going to be inverse. There are different strategies going to be at play. But I think track position is everything around this track. You want to try and pit in as early as possible just to try and get the jump on people. You can get about 4 to 5 second gain over 3 or 4 laps around this track if you're very, very good at inversing the strategy. If you're not, you're going to struggle. You're in the mid-pack. You've got a wall of cars in front of you. You're going nowhere.
Well, it is a famous Grand Prix here on the streets of Monte Carlo. Rayan starts on pole. He's got Rens Tomasin alongside him, and now we go racing here in Monaco. Brilliant race start from Rayan in towards turn number 1. There's a little bit of movement. The two Alpines side by side. That is Nazim and Cameron Dowds, and Cameron Dowds cannot really afford to get tripped up heading up Beau Rivage for the first time. He's going to have to sling it the long way around the outside, and there's contact made, and Cameron Dowds is into the wall, and Cameron all slidey, all trigger happy, but I think damage-wise, he has got away with it.
He has got away with that. I think it was tyre on the wall rather than the front wing damage on the wall. I think everyone's getting through okay. There's an absolute dive around the outside. That was one of the Red Bulls. Ryan, I think that was, around the outside of Bolokongan. And the Grand Hotel hairpin. Marvellous racing by the German. Gets up into 12th. Riendo leads the way. Rens Thomasin in second. Mateo there in third. Absolutely flying their way down into the Nodal chicane for the first time. Mistake there by Oscar in fourth. Brings Dirk into play. Beautiful swimming pool and the marina on the right-hand side as Ryan comes to the swimming pool section. 4/10 inferior over Rens Thomasin. Everyone, by the way, pretty much on a set of hard compound and tyres. Bar Rayan, who made that great start. He's on a set of mediums, as is Dirk, as is Barak, as is Max van der Geest.
Yeah, great to see the smokers back, despite the patch update, but we will say no more on that. Interestingly enough, James, Rayan has gone for the mediums. The three behind him have gone for the hards, and Dirk gone for the mediums as well. So Rayan clearly prioritising track position, and you kind of felt before the race that is the correct choice.
That is the correct choice, but set of hard compound and tyres are going to be better around this track, and you already see it with Rens Thomasin actually coming down the hill in towards Mirabel. The smoke is still there, but Rayan has just got to be very careful that he doesn't take these tyres too hard too early. Rens is looking really smooth in behind compared to Rayan, who's just flinging it through the corners, flinging that car through the corners and through the track, quite literally, and hopefully Rayan is going to stay out in front. But Rens Thomasin is looking really good. It's almost as if he's prioritised downforce rather than straight line speed. Barak, though, was going to go for a move, maybe to the inside line of Radadal, just in behind in the smoke, though. I saw that. Barak tries to go for the move, didn't in the end. Radadal in 8th, but Barak there in 9th. That gap, though, between Max van der Geest and Barak has now gone back down to 5/10 of a second. It was 1.1.
You mentioned Rens Tomasin prioritising downforce over straight line speed. Is prioritising straight line speed at Monaco not a little bit like feeding a dog chocolate to cheer him up? It's not going to be a great conclusion. So that, I think, is the correct decision. Ironically, it's not the man we were talking about in second who sets the fastest lap on lap 2. It's the man in third, Matteo.
It is, and Matteo is honestly looking pretty strong. Early on with ERS, 84% for ERS with Matteo. Rens is on 78, Rayan's on 100, so Rayan can just defend until his heart's content, really. With there only being one DRS zone around here, of course, that's down the start finish rating towards turn 1. Does give a very limited amount of overtaking around this track. Gap again between Barak and Max van der Geest is going back out. There's a split happening between Cameron Dowds and Radadal as well, so watch out for that in the mid-pack. Rayan, though, I think his stone was set immediately to try and drag out the field. Unfortunately, he's got Rens Thomasin in behind. He's probably one of the best, if not the best, in a situation like this. You can just be dragged into it by Rayan. He's sticking within a second, very comfortably, very easily indeed. So Rayan may as well try and drag him out beyond a second, but in the end, Rens Thomasin's just going to come back at him.
it's going to rain, seemingly. According to our stream chat, there's rain on the horizon.
Really?
Admittedly, I don't
Is that why
believe
they've got meetings? Oh,
Admittedly, I don't believe it, because the amount of drivers that have started on the hards, but you never know. You never know.
are they going? Is there going to be rain at the halfway point in the race? Is what I'm thinking. Is that why Rayen has gone medium compound tyres, try and set a stall out very immediately? I mean, it is blue sky and sunshine, quite literally, over the Principality here in Monaco. So I would not be surprised if it is dry toward the end of the race and somebody's having us on in the chat. But if there is rain,
I think it's actually
my
Luca
theory
Rapasa,
is,
to be honest.
if it is Luca Rapazzi, you may as well get back on console and do the talking out
Oh no,
on track,
sorry,
to
it
be
just
honest.
says Luca. Apologies if you're not Luca Rapasa.
I think it is Luca Rapazza. I'm sure it is. It's going to rain apparently hard towards the end of the race. So Luca Rapazza saying hard towards the end. My theory is there is black clouds, by the way, just over the horizon, over the mountains where they are. Zafiguli picks up the first 3-second penalty of tonight's race. The reason why they might have gone on the mediums is maybe the rain is coming earlier on in the race than expected, maybe about the halfway stage, and that's why they're pitting in. Maybe I'm just looking a little bit too much into that, but what I'm not looking into is Oscar's behind Matteo by a second.
Yes, Oscar has formed a little bit of a schism here, as has Azim. He's not kept up with Cameron Dowds. Or sorry, Cameron Dowds is behind him. He's not kept up with Dirk. Here comes Cameron Dowds trying to nudge down the inside. Almost sends his teammate round. The two Alpines. This is very realistic for once, because the two Alpines making contact in this year's Monaco Grand Prix. They're almost doing it here in PSGL. Cameron Dowds not going to be able to get past Azim, but I tell you what, that was risky. And the thing here is, Azim is messing up both of their races as of right now, because Cameron probably has the pace to keep up with the front crew, but he's almost 2 seconds behind as it is. So this is quite urgent for the Scotsman, and you can tell in the way he's driving. Has burned all the battery and is going for some risky moves.
Definitely so, and Cameron, of course, got involved in an incident on Friday as well in the other league. So Cameron, I think this is a different side, potentially, is what I'm saying, to his driving, because he went for that move. I think it was at Silverstone, if I'm not mistaken. He nearly makes that big mistake. Coming through the right-hander there, Anthony Norris now opens up Cameron Dowds, maybe to the inside of Sander Vogt at turn number 1. Doesn't go for the move, and hardly any space to really overtake. Maybe up the hill and towards Massenet Casino Square. Have seen overtakes around the outside of here before, albeit on F1 2018, back in the day where I used to commentate on very small leagues. Cameron Dowds on the back of Azim, 6th and 7th position, but Azim is holding up Cameron Dowds like a tree. I wouldn't be surprised, actually, Evan, if Azim has maybe got a little bit of damage on that car, because he is forfeiting a lot of time.
I just don't know why he doesn't pull over and let Cameron through. You're a team, after all. I know you're not an esports team. I very much like to emphasise the point that the PSGL is a team, is a drivers' championship over a team's championship. But still, you're not doing anyone any favours here, and your teammate is the one that you are hampering most. Azim can keep himself ahead of Ryder Dahl and Barak, but he obviously wants to outscore Cameron Dowds as well, and there is no better proving point than beating your teammate, I suppose, but I'm not too sure about doing it in the nature like this.
Yeah,
although I also say this, and he is catching to Dirk now, so, you know.
That's literally what I was about to say as well. Barak has came into the pit lane. Interesting. Is this for damage, or is this for a tactical pit stop, set a hard compound tyres right towards the end of the race? I spy with my little eye something we begin with H, and that's a set of hards. No front wing change, and that is now him down at the back of the field. So he's immediately doing what I have done, what I've done around this track before, and prioritise track position over anything. That's what Barak is trying to do, and that's why it'll get him towards Dirk, Oscar, that sort of area. I don't think he'll be touching the top 3 too soon.
So, he's gone for track position, and that could be crucial when everybody else pits, because Barak now has clean air. There is no one holding him up. He's got a nice fresh set of boots on, finest of Pirelli's rubber. And he's almost spun, and Azim is out of the race. That's heading into the Nobel chicane. It's a pile-up, and look who's involved in it. It's Cameron Dowds, and we thought his race was jeopardised by his teammate before. It certainly is that now. Why in the world is that not a safety car?
And why is that car not even ghosted coming through the Nobel chicane? That's why Cameron Dowds got held up all the way down in 9th position. Failure with the ghosting system. In the end, we saw pretty much the same incident, if not around about the same lap as well on PSF2 earlier on. And that was a safety car. This isn't, and he's crashed coming through the Nivelle chicane. Ridiculous in my eyes, and ridiculous that that car was not even ghosted. Cameron Dowd's got held up an absolute treat. Rien leads the way, Ren's there in second, Matteo there in third. Medium compounder tyres are already going off the cliff because we've already seen as well Max von der Geese into the pit lane, along with Cameron Dowds, obviously with that damage, going now onto a set of mediums, trying to present himself with an opportunity in this race. But the hards are going off. Rien is looking slow out in front. Ren Thomason, if there's now a time to go for the race lead, it is now, my friend, because Ren Thomason is all over the back of Rien. Rien's tyres are going.
Can I just reiterate something for a second? What a mad save that was by Barak heading into the Grand Hotel Hairpin, by the way. Admittedly, I didn't get to talk about it at the time, but you all saw it in the stream. That was a mad save from the Spaniard. But yeah, Cameron now down in 18th. Time to see what he's made of. Admittedly, everything has gone against him so far in this race, but hopefully now it comes more into his favour. Jerk into the pit lane, as you were saying, James. Medium's definitely heading off the mountain that you can see just in front of the onboard.
Yeah, definitely. So Ren's right on the back of Rien. Is he going to go for the move up the hill? Closing, inside line. No, Aston Martin's not going to go for the move. Ren's, I know him very well, doesn't want to go for an opportunity that does not present itself, and he doesn't want to force a gap. That is definitely not his, and that's why Ren's is just hanging back off Rien. Matteo is there in third. Oscar has been welcomed into this fight, though, and that's going to be very interesting for the championship because Ren's, Matteo, Oscar, all in that championship fight. Cameron Dowd's down in 17th. Casper Black now coming in the pit lane to go on a set of mediums. That means Cameron Dowd's going to be now in 16th because Moustache has just came out of the pit lane as well. Cameron Dowd's out the points right now. All of his title rivals are miles ahead out on track. In fact, they're nearly 2 seconds ahead out on track. And at this moment in time, Cameron Dowd has got really no hope of getting back in this race. Needs a VSC or a safety car to get back in it.
Or rain. Needs some rain.
Or rain.
To topple Rayan. And needs some rain because he's quite good in wet conditions. Speaking of Rayan, into the pit lane. So let's see where he comes out. He'll be without question in front of anyone that's pit so far. But I want to see how close he is to Dirk, because they both started on the medium tyres. Remember, Rayan and Dirk, both esports teammates, not teammates in terms of their allocated team slot here in PSGL F1, but it'll be interesting nonetheless. There goes a couple of the back runners through, and he's going to be well in front.
He is going to be well in front, and yeah, he's going to be about a second in front, maybe ahead of Dirk, maybe slightly more than that. Yeah, roughly around a second. Coming up the hill and towards Casino Square, brings Dirk into play though directly within this championship fight as Moustache is there retired. Oh, that's in the pit lane. Moustache is retired into the pit lane. Got excited for a second there. Red Thomason though leading the way. Matteo second, Oscar there in third. That yellow flag still out there for Moustache, who is currently getting nil point and has definitely got nil point now out on track here tonight. But we're only on lap 10. This race is providing a lot of curveballs early on. Oscar now dropping off the back of Matteo, dropping off the back of Ren's. Ren's leading the way at this moment in time, 4/10 of a second and behind Matteo. Matteo, the Italian, looking to try and get the move done on the Dutchman. Cannot find the way through for now, just biding his time. The yellow, the car coming out the pit lane. Luckily hasn't came out the pit lane, but Max von der Geese has crashed, and that is a VSE.
That is Max von der Geest out of the session. That's heading through the Nouvelle chicane once again, and he's just put it in the arm coat, just gone straight in, probably clipped the inside wall, and then we ended up straight into it. So that is the virtual safety car coming out. Disappointing for Moustache to be out of the race as well. And statistically, obviously races aren't ran on statistics, but statistically things are not looking promising for him. He took 4 podiums last season in PSF2. They were all scored in the first half of the season. Today marks the end of the first half of the season, and he has not got a podium on the board. So it's not looking promising for Moustache. Max von der Geest, disappointing for him. Ran well for the first few minutes of qualifying, but unfortunately it has been a downward trajectory for the Williams man. But still, he can bounce back from this one. He's not had a bad season.
Yeah, he hasn't had a bad season indeed. Good restart all the way by Renz. Now back to green flag racing. Matteo made a slight mistake down the hill. He might be in the interviews later on. I'm going to ask him about that because he nearly lost it into the wall. Just on recovery in towards the Nivelle chicane. Nearly clipped the wall and nearly lost his right side end plate. So Matteo could have easily picked up damage there, didn't. And now he's on the back of Rennes and trying to hunt him down and towards turn number 1 once again. Nothing really happening in Monaco, not the most entertaining race right now. I present to you, though, a battle for 9th and 10th between Alpha Gully and Brando, who is looking about as close as what we are getting right now out on track. And it's Brando maybe going to go for a move down and towards turn number 1. Looks now, maybe to the outside line, doesn't go for the move. And Alpha Gully there, hanging on by an absolute grim thread, as now Brando tries to get the hill down and towards turn number 4, but in the end, doesn't go for the move. And Alpha Gully 9th, Brando there in 10th, at least with exciting for about 1% of that battle.
Yeah, Ryan and Monaco were having a little bit of a scrap before the VSC. They were not aboard a steam train, they were aboard an Azim train, and obviously once he pulled out of the way, or well, he didn't pull out of the way exactly, he hit the wall. They were unleashed, had a little bit of a scrap, and they're going to go scrapping again. Is Monaco going to try it into the chicane? No, he has seen drivers try and fail, and doesn't fancy that one. Still Rennes Tomas in the lead after 12 laps. Matteo in second, Oscar in third. The race for the race win, not currently a battle out on track, but in terms of the time and in terms of the strategy, it is spicing up.
It might change though, because Hazara is holding up Rayen an absolute treat, holding up Dirk as well, and he cannot find a way through Rayen. Now coming through in towards Raskas, Dirk is right underneath his rear end. Now coming through Anthony Nudge once again onto lap 13 we go. Rayen has got to go for this move, surely. Hazara parking his car perfectly. There's nothing Rayen can do. He can't find a way through. Nearly rear ends the back of Hazara down in towards Sandevot at turn number 1. Still cannot find the way through. This is absolute curtains potentially now for Rayen. Getting held up a tree. Hazara is about 10 miles an hour too slow. Nearly loses his left side plate and now tries to go for the move down in towards Mirabeau. Down in towards the right-hander of turn number 5. Forces Hazara in the wall and Hazara is in the wall. And that from Rayen was too late on the brakes. And in the end, you've got to get away. You've got to get around and passing drivers out on track. That is not one way to do it.
Yeah. Admittedly, he had to get it done though. He did get it done, but that could be reviewed by the stewards. Hazara, once again, returning to a traditional stance of a blockade from time to time. I think there was a Japanese Grand Prix a few seasons ago where he did something similar. That Sauber is destroyed, however, damage-wise. That'll be straight into the pit lane. Hopefully does carry on. Hazara usually does, but after, if I remember correctly, it was a pretty dire Qatar Grand Prix. Monaco not looking much better here. Rayan has just lost a huge advantage that he had in this race win battle, though. That was horrible for him. That would have been a terrible few corners because you could see his lead slipping away.
And Brando nearly went into the back of Alpha Gully. Hazara there retires into the pit lane, sped into the pit lane as well. Brando looking on the back of Alpha Gully just in front. Rayen tries to get up the inside line. Dirk has to be careful as well. They really, really have to be careful in a scenario like this. And Dirk's nearly in the wall. Big recovery from Dirk. My God, that was sideways if I've ever seen it from the TF10 man. He's there down in 12. Nearly ended up in the wall on the right-hand side. Coming out through Casino Square. On the run down towards Mirabeau. In the end, just about recovered the car, but my God, that was cold brown from Dirk in the Williams.
Yeah, and I can imagine Dirk. I know Dirk well. I can imagine there probably was just a when it happened. Not much emotion, but certainly that could have been disastrous for him. This is quite an interesting train now. We've got two McLarens, a Ferrari, an RB, a Williams, and there is a Haas catching up. Remember, Rayan, Dirk and Barak have all pit. Brando and Alpha Gully have not. Talis is not in this fight, by the way. He's 6.5 seconds up the road.
Yeah, Talis is 6.5 seconds up the road, but in the end, it's going to be really, really cautious. Rayen is going to have to do what he did on Azara, I'm afraid, and try and get elbows out and try and get the move done into the inside of Massenet. Down towards Casino Square, turn number 4. Maybe down towards Mirabeau, turn number 5. I'm getting a sense of deja vu here. Rayen to the inside line. Brando sees what's coming, clips the inside wall, just about gets through.
Oh,
Dirk goes around the outside as well. Beautiful opportunism there from the Williams. He's through, he's in for 11. You can do one, I can do one better, I think.
Yep, that one from Dirk might have been a but that was a very nice move from Dirk. Very opportunistic, I have to say, and he got that job done. Here comes Rayan. Oh! Was that a snap in the tunnel as we go on board?
It was.
That was almost a commentator's curse from me, an unintentional one, when I said these cars don't struggle with grip through the tunnel, but Rayan clearly did. Oh, that's poor. Heading through to back for Alpha Gully. There was a little bit of cloud cover, by the way, when we were heading through that sector, so that could indicate that rain is soon. Rayan, though, I'm sensing a move in towards Upper Mirabeau again, or is he going to go for it towards turn number 1? Alpha Gully going to try to defend the inside.
No.
Rayan thought he'd move, he didn't, so he had to lift off. Now heading up the hill. Rayan's got a much better run here in the RB, but Alpha Gully can just weave his way in front and snake up the hill, and Rayan doesn't go for it round the outside. It's going to be a scarily similar lunge. He's pulled 2 off already, one definitely controversial, another one squeaky clean. Is third time the charm? No, it isn't. He's forced to the outside, heading through the hairpin, and surely he doesn't go for this one.
Switchback?
Oh!
No.
Oh, has no way, no way, no way through into the wall for Rayan. Now he's picked up damage. Dirk's trying to make it free wide, heading through Portier.
Wow.
And if we thought his last one was opportunistic, this one certainly is. The Williams tucked into the slipstream of the RB, and there's no space. There's not enough space around the streets of Monte Carlo for all 3 of them. 2 of them have made contact. Dirk somehow finds a way through. He's done very well to avoid damage.
He has, but he should have backed out of that. I think, in my opinion, he was on the right-hand side. Really got caught on the little bump coming through the right hand of the kink, coming through turn on the run down into the Nouvelle chicane. Really got caught on that, and that's what nearly put him in the wall. Very similar to what Matteo nearly did actually under the VSC. Dirk there into 10th, has got through. Rayen now in clear. Oh my god, Barak's just sent it from an absolute different damage to the inside on and towards turn number 1 at Sandefjord. He absolutely sent that. The Spaniard licking the stamp, trying to send it, didn't in the end. Alpha Gully there in 11th, Barak in 12th. If Rayen was getting his elbows out, God knows what Barak's going to do here. Alpha Gully's tires are shot. He's got right side plate damage on that car. Barak has got to be careful and not go for a move that's not his. I think the tunnel down to the Nouvelle chicane is his best opportunity.
In the football world, you certainly see Central European countries as tough tacklers and they make tough manoeuvres. I didn't think that transferred to Formula 1 racing, but the Algerian Frenchman and the Spaniard both given a lot of gusto here in Monte Carlo. Alpha Gully, I've never seen a man get as frightened on the racing circuit. He completely locked up heading in towards turn number 1 because I think he was just petrified of what was coming, and now he's made a mistake as well. Once Barak appears back behind him, Alpha Gully all over the shop here. Unfortunately, he's lost 3 seconds to the cars in front immediately as Cameron Dowd has just gone round the outside of Anthony Nose on Brando. This is a crazy race.
I'll be honest there, Brando did sort of back out of that down towards Rascals. I was a ball with him, but Barak is not going to back out of this, is he? On the outside line, Alpha Gully lets him through. Fair play to Alpha there. Barak there in 11th. Alpha Gully now in 12th.
I wouldn't say fair play. I think Alpha Gully just realised that he's dead if he doesn't let these cars through. Because he's had one too many close calls. If he wants to complete the 39 laps that we've got here for you folks in Monaco, he's got to just let these guys through.
He has, and he's bound to let Brando through, I think. Renz, Thomason and Matteo, by the way, for the race lead. I thought we mentioned this. 0.3 of a second between them both. Just trying to eye each other up, trying to work on each other, see where each other's weaknesses are. Right now, nobody's got a weakness, nobody's got a strength. They are absolutely even Stevens out in front. The gap between them and Rayen is 23 seconds right now coming through the left hand out of Massenet Casino Square. This is going to be very intriguing because a pit lane loss around here is about 20 seconds. Rayen's going to be 3 seconds back, as is Dirk. Barak's going to be even further back than that. Currently, advantage without potential rain is in Renz, Thomason and Matteo's camp. With how this race has transpired, with that traffic that Rayen and Dirk got stuck in, they're now about to knock 10 bales out of each other down in towards turn number 3, and Dirk gets the move done on Rayen. Has Rayen got a problem, or was he just very slow?
I don't know. It could be a case of both. All I know is there's a beautiful little gap between is that one of the Red Bulls? Yeah, between Ryan, or no, sorry, yeah, between. I'll get this one straight, folks. Between Talas and between Dirk, there's a beautiful little gap for Renz and Matteo to pit into. So if one of them sprung an undercut, I wouldn't be so surprised. Certainly, you can't say it's been a boring first 20 laps of the Monaco Grand Prix.
No, definitely not. Matteo just trying to eye up again on the back of Renz. They're so even. They're so well matched out on track. But the gap now with Dirk and Rayen is beginning to come down. It's a second down this lap. Dirk now 22 seconds behind Renz and Matteo. That gap all of a sudden could begin to get a little bit shorter as Matteo makes a mistake there in through Mirabo, now into the Grand Hotel hairpin, or formerly the Lowe's hairpin, of course, these days. And Matteo there in second, still trying to eye up on the back of Renz. Is this the titles battle we have got, apart from Brando, around the outside of turn number 1, the inside of turn number 1, actually, on Alpha Gully. Just about got to the apex first. The Italian 30s into 13th. Alpha Gully needs to spread his wings and fly once again. He's there in 14th, but his tyres are going.
Yeah, see, Gully has had his wings clipped in this race, unfortunately. And he is fallen down to 14, still 13 seconds ahead of Casper Flack, however. Renz and Matteo, they're both saving. They're not pushing as much as they want to. And obviously a racing driver wants to push every single lap. Matteo just tactically, or is he? No, he scrap that thought. He was saving. He's now gone for a move on Renz Tomasson and has pulled an absolute masterclass. He's not going to get by here. You've got to be 10 levels above brave than any human to ever exist to go around the outside of Renz Tomasson, heading through Massenet. I think even Chuck Yeager wouldn't have been able to fly around the outside of Renz Tomasson. But yeah, it's an interesting one, that's for sure. I was going to say they're saving. I'm going to just completely cancel out that point because Matteo now looks eager all of a sudden.
Matteo, I think, now looks better, I'll be honest, than Renz. And that's all because of one lunge, or albeit near move in towards turn number 1. But the cloud cover beginning to build over the second. Oh my god, Matteo! Holy moly! Sideways throughout the Nivelle chicane. He's lost a hell of a lot of time. 7/10 of a second. I was just about to say he's looking strong. That's a commentator's curse if I put one. Renz might have just run over the inside curb there as well. But the cloud cover beginning to build over the circuit slightly. If they are staying out for the rain, there must be rain coming because they are staying out. I think they would have been into the pit lane, but they know how the medium compound tyres went, and in the end, the medium compound tyres went within, what, 10 laps in this race?
Well, Dirk only did 7.
But Dirk only did 7. Barack, I think, only did about 8 or 9, and now the rest of the field are obviously going to have to pit in on that set of mediums. So if that rain comes, like Lucas said in the chat, around about lap 30 he's expecting it to be, if that is the case, we are going to be in for a fascinating final 10 laps. It's just whether or not now, though, Matteo can get back on the Renz, because all of a sudden, it's swung from one pendulum to the next. This is advantage Renz right now.
Look who's in 4th, by the way. Can I just point this out? He is insanely good in mixed conditions. Remember the Spanish Grand Prix last year? His one and only PSGL F1 win. Who did he beat on that occasion in the mixed conditions when tyre saving was a big factor? Renz Tomasson. Well, he beat everybody, but he did beat his teammate Renz Tomasson in pretty much a 1 versus 1 shootout. Keep an eye on him. Keep an eye on Oscar as well. What a brilliant race so far this has been from Marios, by the way. The trend for him has been superb qualifyings, terrible races. This has been a better race than qualifying for the Cypriot, and he is driving really, really well.
He is driving really well indeed. Matteo's not driving well, though. That's another mistake for Matteo, and now the gap is outside of a second. Unfortunate for him. I was on board with that as well. Renz Tomasson now, all of a sudden, has got a 1.1 second lead. His rears are going. Matteo's rears are completely overheating now, and this seems like, again, advantage Renz Tomasson. Matteo's just got to keep it cool, just got to keep it calm. Whether or not that we can, whether we know it can rein back in Renz Tomasson, who's now looking superior, is a different thing. And remember, if this rain's going to come, look at the gap between Renz and Dirk. 19.5 seconds, very close to pit lane loss. Renz and Matteo could end up being behind Dirk here.
Well, the only thing is if it rains heavy enough, Dirk will have to pit again.
Yep.
But I'm not sure it will. I wonder, can anyone potentially try survive on slicks? Admittedly, one single aquaplane and your plan is gone. But if it's very light rain, I wonder, will anyone be able to drive it out on the slicks? I know it's still bright and sunny here in the city of Monte Carlo, but we know there's rain coming because there's no way these guys would be staying out. There's no way 8 of them would be staying out as long as they are if there was no rain on the horizon. That was very close for Matteo in through turn number 1, and I think that's what the ooh from the other side of the commentary box was about.
It was. Again, I'm on board with him. It's almost as if now he's being told, don't sacrifice yourself, just keep it calm. But he can't because his rears are overheating, coming from the right-hand return number 1. That's why he makes a mistake, and all of a sudden, look at the gap. It's 1.5, 1.6 seconds. It was a second the last time around, and now the gap again is going back up. And again, for Matteo, this is unfortunate. Tallis has just been overtaken around the outside at Mirabo. Surely not by Dirk. Beautiful move in the end. Just caught that a little bit too late, but Dirk is through on Talles. He now needs to get Volokongan. This is big. This is important now. He needs to get through on Volokongan, needs to get through on Ryan, because this will determine whether or not he can get towards the end of this race if this rain is going to be forecast and comes. Dirk needs to get this move done on Volokongan, needs to clear Ryan as well, within ideally, I think, 2 laps. Otherwise, his potential rise, if the rain is not coming, his potential rise is gone. But the black clouds are beginning to build over the mountains, and that has just completely and utterly turned up the wick once again. He just picked up a 3-second penalty.
Yeah, that's disastrous from Dirk, and that's under his own accord as well, unless he got an earlier warning for being shoved off track. Remember, there was the incident where he went straight through the no-belt chicane, unless he can get that one removed, but I wouldn't be so sure. Cloud cover is approaching us here in Monte Carlo. Dirk is approaching Volokongan, and he's trying it around the outside. You would need to channel your inner Ross Chastain to do that, as, oh, did I just see something fall off the front of that Williams? I certainly hope I didn't, but there seems to be some form of white carbon fibre fly somewhere. Hopefully it was not the front wing of Dirk. Admittedly, these cars have been made of steel today, because the amount of bumps and bangs we've seen, and not an awful lot of them have damage.
Not an awful lot have damage, and to be fair, every single driver that has competed so far, maybe bar the odd few who's obviously picked up damage, like the likes of Alpha Gully further down the field, everyone, I think, has been really, really strong right now. Rayen has now picked up a 3-second penalty. Again, swings Renz, Thomason and Mateo's way if this rain does not come, but the rain is definitely coming now. 13 laps to go in this race. You are going to have me on if there is no rain coming towards the end. Luca, to be fair, said about lap 30. I'm going to go around about lap 32, I think, in terms of the rain. It is going to impact the circuit. It's just whether or not it falls heavy enough to impact the circuit enough for them to turn to inters. There are plenty of laps in this race for it to do, but in the end, it's all going to be up to the weather gods here in Monaco. And we have seen before, in real life, Evan, how the rain can impact a race in Monaco. I think last year, wasn't it?
It was either last year or the year before. Dirk down the inside of Volokongan. That is squeaky clean as they get to the hairpin. Volokongan now almost needs to use the car in front as a brake. Oh,
beautiful.
Wow. What a move by Dirk. He's been a standout performer today. They say you can't overtake at Monte Carlo. If your name is Dirk, well, that goes out the window. I have an interesting question. I'm not sure if you'll know the answer, James. Someone in the comments might be able to tell us. But technically, if one driver goes in the intermediates, I'm pretty sure it's declared a wet race and the tyre rule no longer has to be followed. Do Renz and Matteo still have to pit, or can they go to the end on one set of slicks if it is declared a wet race? Because obviously they could do it on inters, but I'm not sure they could do it on slicks.
I think within the game it's mandatory to stop, isn't it? So they'd have to pit in on a compounded tyre, regardless of if it's raining or if it's a dry, whatever it may be. They're going to have to pit in regardless, because their tyres are now beginning to go.
Yeah, on the game I think so, but it's an interesting conversation if this wasn't the game. As all look at this.
No way. No, no, no.
No, this is silly. This is silly. This is getting silly. This is getting silly. This is getting silly. Down the inside goes Dirk. My word. Silly, stupendous. Is there a word to describe what we've just seen from TF10 Dirk? The former PSF2 champion is wheeling it around Monte Carlo.
I've got 2 more for you. Bloody hell, what on earth was that? Dirk threw into 6. Ryan in 7th. Ryan, to be fair, gave him all of the room in the world to try and complete that move. He saw that he was halfway spinning. Coming to the right hand of Mirabo. There is the yellow flag. That's Talles in the wall, and that is also in the wall as well.
Oh, look who's got in.
Barack, is it? As there, Matteo was into the pit lane. Matteo was in VSC deployed.
But he pit anyways. He was in the pits before the VSC came out. What a stroke of luck from Matteo. Oh. And he's gone for a set of slicks, which maybe means it won't rain. Renz Thomason, is that his Monaco Grand Prix victory gone? Matteo is in the net race lead. He does have Dirk right behind him, but he's on significantly better tyres than his former teammate.
I don't think it is, you know, because the gap between Renz and Matteo is 21 seconds. That is the gap at this moment in time. The VSC, of course, will change. The gaps will change. There is a drive-through, though, for Barak. Was that a drive-through for Dirk as well, if I'm not mistaken? Just having a look. No, it was just for Barak, but we are back on the green flag racing. The thing that might have saved Renz Thomason here is the gap. But the gap is now 17.8 seconds, 17.6, 17.2. Oh, Matteo was cutting into this gap. Renz Thomason's got no chance. His race is gone unless he comes in the pit lane this lap and goes on a mediums and counteracts Matteo. His race is now gone.
Yep, he has to come in now. He has to come in now. He is. Into the pit lane comes Renz Thomason. What's Oscar going to do? He hasn't pit either as well. Actually taps the inside wall heading through La Piscine and through the swimming pool. But Oscar, yeah, he's going to come in as well. Knows that the game is up. Where is Renz? Where is Matteo? Matteo is heading past the Haas garage, heading past the safety car. Matteo is going to be ahead here. There goes Renz, not even out of the pit lane. Matteo is in the lead of the Monaco Grand Prix.
About 3 seconds, I think, the gap. Yep, 3.4, 3.5, just above 3 seconds the gap. Dirk, however, is in third, and he has pit. Very interesting, I think, from his perspective. He's there in third on his own sufferance, doing an absolute wondrous job, I may add, as well. As Barak there is coming out of the pit lane. He was stuck there. He's got an old set of hard companion tyres. What on earth is he doing?
Dirk's almost just lost it all, heading through Mirabeau. I don't know what happened, but it was almost like he got stuck to the curb. There's a little ridge on the inside of that corner. It seemed like he almost got stuck to it, but he is okay. The crucial thing for Dirk here is he needs to somehow stay 3 seconds in front of Ryder to counteract that penalty, but in all honesty, I wouldn't be full of confidence.
I wouldn't be full of confidence. Full of confidence though for Cameron Dowd. He just sent it to the inside line of Mirabeau on Barak, now into the points positions. Important for him, he's got Alpha Gully ahead of him, a Shazoo teammate. Is he going to let him straight through? Probably with that damage, you'd imagine. So Cameron Dowd through the tunnel, easy. Job done. Thuney's into 9. Now set to sight and Volokonga and Ryan ahead. That could be a battle that he closes in on. Whether or not he gets to that point is a different thing, as Barak picks up another penalty out on track. The gap, though, 3 seconds. Matteo got very fortunate with that safety, with that VSC pitting in. He is still looking rather shaky, though, out on track. I don't think this one is done, you know. Matteo makes his mistakes again. Renz is back in this.
It's time for Renz Thomason to show that he is the best driver on console, because that's claims I've seen on the world of social media. As Cameron Downs has just at the fastest lap of the race. That's actually a crash for Rayan. Pole sitter on the start-finish straight. Oh, he's facing the wrong way at the start-finish straight. Destroyed front wing. There's carbon fibre all on the main straight, off the racing line, but on the main straight. What has happened there?
Has he had an incident with Barak? Because Barak's got left side plate damage on the car as well.
Well, Rayan has right, so that adds up. Oh, and he's hit the wall again.
I thought he was trying to do the wall glitch. That was going around here. Just riding the walls, wall riding around here, Rayan. But he's down in 12th position. His race is completely gone. Matteo bangs in the fastest lap of the race. Does Renz Thomason follow suit? Yes, he does. 108.821. 2.9 seconds. Gap is stagnant at the minute. Anybody that said that rain was going to come, by the way, you're having me on right now, because at this moment it's still sunny. It's still overcast out on track. This rain, I said lap 32, it's next lap, it's not going to come. This lap's going to be final 3 laps if it is going to come. If not, it's not going to change anything. We're dry to the end.
Yeah, PSGL's weather correspondent Luca Rapace has lied to us in the previous world champion here at PSGL F1, having us on a little bit. But I mean, it is still there is still grey clouds, so I wouldn't rule it out entirely. Renz, however, has almost caught a second to Matteo. This one is not over. It is, however, for our pole sitter Rayan.
It is. He retires into the pit lane. Barak on a set of soft compound tyres as well. The gap, 1.8. Has Matteo picked up damage on that car? Because he's just forfeited 1.2 seconds on that gap. Was that a winglet missing? Left side end plate damage on the car?
No,
might be a winglet.
They're both there. Well, it's not visual, but there might be something missing. You know the way this game acts from time to time. The only thing is that gap, the more it decreases, the more nervous Matteo gets. He has a bit of lap traffic in front of him here. He needs to dispatch of this as quick as possible. That is a Haas. It is Barak as Ryderdale is right on the back of Dirk here, and we said Dirk needed to keep that gap 3 seconds. It's not even 3/10 now. What a storming performance this is from Ryderdale.
And he had a fantastic run coming out of turn number 1, right on the back of Dirk. Cannot find the way through, though, now until the Grand Hotel hairpin once again. The gap is now 1.5 seconds. Rens Thomason is eating into that now. Pretty much like a piece of Italian pizza, I've got to say, in front. From Matteo's perspective, Ryderdale will now looking maybe to the inside line of the tunnel. Without pineapple, definitely. Ryderdale on the back of Dirk. Dirk defending for his life. Down into the Nivelle chicane. Ryderdale tries to get the apex, the run out of the apex. Can't. Either needs to put Dirk into a mistake and into the wall, and Ryderdale gets through, or he just waits and goes for the move at turn number 1. I think, honestly, go for the move at turn number 1.
Yeah, you don't really want to be putting drivers into the wall every so often, although admittedly that was the approach Rayan took. I'm also well aware that pineapple on pizza is not the most relevant discussion at this point in the race, but I thought it was a noteworthy comment nonetheless. Ryderdale doesn't go for the move in towards turn number 1. However, it's definitely on here. Is he going to do a Dirk on Dirk in towards Massenet? Tried the long way around the outside and potentially tee up a move in towards the right-hander. Can't kid a kidder, and Ryderdale has a massive snap. Well saved by the Swede. He just needs to take his time here. He knows Oscar is right behind. Just needs to take a time, not make a mistake, because he's not catching Rens Thomason. This is it for Ryderdale. He has plenty of time to do the move.
Oscar, to be fair, nearly did the same thing as Ryderdale, coming through Casino Square as well. Now, surely got to go for the move. Risk it for chocolate biscuit or bourbon or custard cream or something. Ryderdale right on the back of Dirk, looking for the move. Or a Jammy Dodger or a Terry's Chocolate Orange. As Alpha Gully has crashed. Is that a VSC? It is. It's a VSC. Out on track. Changes complexion of the race. If there's a full safety car now, this opens up a whole kettle of worms. Mateo leads the way. Rens Thomason there in second. Rens' advantage was coming down. It's now going back out. Is the rain about to fall as well? Because it's got very dark.
And that's a points finish that has been sacrificed from McLaren and from Alpha Gully, as he is out of this one. 32 laps on hard tyres. A really valiant effort from Alpha Gully, but unfortunately it was just too many laps for him. It's got so dull all of a sudden, and I think what has been an excellent chapter of this PSGL season here in Monte Carlo might just have something else in it.
I thought it was raining there. I was just on board with Rens. Now coming through the tunnel,
It
obviously
looks
it's not going to be raining through the tunnel. It looks like it's raining, but it's not. I think it's just the glare coming off the Aston Martin cockpit that I'm on board with. It's still VSC fully out on track. This is going to be a really fascinating end to this race. Rens Thomason built up all of that battery. Matteo has built up all of his battery. It's who gets the better start off this VSC really gets the race win. Rens is looking on the back of Matteo, hoping that this VSC ends very soon, but it's nearly been out a full lap. In fact, I think it has been out a full lap now. Coming through the right-hander, slows the speed down. Now it's DRS enabled. The worst possible out on track. It's raining now out on track as well. Lap 35 out of 39. Do they pit in before the end? That's my question.
It's raining, and Casper Flack has gone for the intermediates. What a brilliant strategy. Casper Flack might be on for another points finish from the back of the grid for a second week running, and Casper, the journeyman Flack, through the PSGL rankings, is once again looking to try and pick up some points here in Monte Carlo. This could be an incredible finish. Ryderdale has already got past Dirk. Dirk will have literally no grip. He is Bambi on ice here in Monte Carlo. 26 lap old hard tyres will just have nothing as soon as it starts to rain, and the two Scandinavians showing their expertise in scrapping here in Monaco. Oscar versus Ryderdale. We need to keep an eye on the race lead as well, though. Matteo versus Rens, as Rens has had his first real mistake in quite some time.
He has nearly sideways coming out the Nivelle chicane. He's still on the back. They are absolutely on the ragged edge. This track is turning wet before the end of this race. I guarantee you, it's just whether or not they can go towards the end of the race on these mediums. I think they can. They can definitely make it toward the end, as Marius is through on Dirk as well. On Dirk, they're through into fifth. Dirk there in sixth. Rens on the back of Matteo. This rain is falling out on track. This rain is falling heavy enough for it to impact the track. It's just whether or not it's going to do that, though. Matteo leads the way. Rens in second. Rens on a lap fresher tyres. I would say that's about 4-5% fresher tyres that he's got compared to Matteo. He's got less battery, though, by 10%. Matteo, massive mistake there in towards Mirabeau, brings Renz right into it.
This is the league racing version of Senna versus Mansell. We have not long to go here in Monaco. Two guys who are on a different stratosphere to the rest of the field. 20 seconds to be exact. Obviously, we have the added factor that there's rain, but they are going for everything to try and pick up the maximum points haul in what's been such a close championship battle. I think whoever wins this race will take the championship lead, heading to Silverstone. Yet there's only 3 points separating them. So there's a lot at stake here. Does one commit to the pit lane on this occasion? We'll see as they round through Raskas. Yes, yes, Matteo is in. Doesn't fancy it on the slicks, needs the intermediates. Now that's a spanner in the works.
That's the wrong call. I guarantee you now that is the wrong call.
But the only thing is he's still going to be in second. He's still going to be in second here.
He's still going to be in second, but watch the gap. This gap's going to be about 16 and a half, 17 seconds. Add into that rider there, Oscar, who's coming out through the final
Oscar's
corner.
in.
Matteo out of the pit lane. It is getting wet out on track. It's whether or not he's made the right decision, though. Oh, he's off in the pit lane. My goodness me. He just went wide coming out of the pit lane. The gap is 18.1 seconds. Renz Thomason, if I'm him, I'm putting in this lap intermediate compounded tyres on the car. Renz might have just been handed that from Matteo making a mistake coming through the pit lane.
It's risk management. It's risk management. Matteo doesn't want to make a mistake. He feels there's not that much chance to make a mistake on the intermediates. He also has his teammate right in front of him, the two Italians racing for Ferrari. Get out of the way immediately, Brando, says Matteo, and Brando follows orders. Great teamwork there. Let's see what Matteo does. Matteo is still pushing, by the way. He's a madman. He's possessed at the best of times. Now is certainly one of them. Does he come into the pit lane and potentially lose this race, or does he try stick out? He's staying out. He's staying out as DRS is disabled. Renz Thomason is trying to pull off one of the greatest performances in PSGL history.
I think it's the right call, though. This track has just gone DRS disabled. The track is not really picking up a lot of spray, though, at this moment in time. And that gap is coming down. It's whether or not he can find 15 seconds in 2 laps. That is going to be, you might think at the best of times, it's a very hard gap to bring down. In changing conditions, I think Renz Thomason's got this. I think he's got the advantage. Not if he makes a mistake like that, though, in towards Mirabeau. Matteo on the back, 14.1 seconds. I think Renz has got this. If he doesn't pick up a puncture or anything, I think he's got this.
Look at the car control. Like, he's making this look easy. Literally every single one of you watching, me and James included, would have crashed by now. All it takes is a mistake. The gap is not coming down quick enough for Matteo. Renz's success in Monte Carlo is in his own hands. He's wheel spinning the life out of his medium tyres. As just look at it drifting in towards the MSC Cruises sponsorship. It's like a cruise. We're heading through the swimming pool, and I wish that was a creative pun. Oscar gets past Cameron Dowds. Cameron is trying to do it as well. Ryder Dahl is doing a cracking job on his set of mediums. Both of the Aston Martins are going for it. Usually in PSGL, we have a mental final lap. This time, it's a different ball game.
It is a different ball game. Renz leads onto the final lap of the race. The gap has closed 10 seconds in 1 lap, and Matteo is going to be on the back of him even before even before we get down in towards Mirabeau, I think. Matteo on the back of Renz. Renz leading the way.
Look at this! Look at this! This is
He's
stupid!
on the ragged edge. And in the end, Matteo at this moment in time. But look, Casper Flack is in the mix as well, and Casper Flack could cause a bit of carnage here.
James, he's tandem drifting.
Renz is absolutely on the ragged edge.
Look at this. This is going to be it. This is going to be it. Matteo's trying it round the outside of Renz Thomason. Side by side on the last lap in Monte Carlo. It was too much. He couldn't survive on the mediums. And Matteo, with a masterful strategy, as it turns out, is going to win in Monaco, bar a mistake himself. Renz Thomason was putting on a James Dean-esque performance for the first sector, just kicking out the rear, trying to get it through the corners. But Matteo is going to round round through the final couple of corners. He's already got 3 seconds. There's puddles forming heading through the swimming pool. It's just point management for Rens Thomason. Needs to get it home in second place. In towards the Raskas. There'll be a lovely warm cup of coffee waiting for the Italian. But Matteo wins out what has been a battle of the greats in Monaco. Matteo wins in Monte Carlo. Rens Thomason will come home in second. What a valiant effort from these two. They really are two of the greatest we've ever seen.
They are indeed. Rodadell's dropping positions as well. Dirk right on the back of Marios coming through. I think Oscar's going to pick up third quite comfortably, and that's going to be good for him in terms of the points. Marios, though, and Dirk for fourth and fifth is going to be an interesting one. Now coming through Raskas, now coming through Anthony Nudge. They're about to embark onto... no, in fact, they're about to come across the line. Marios toward the line will get fourth in the end. Dirk there in fifth. Rodadell hanging on by the ragged edge. Gets sixth somehow in that race. Ryan there in seventh. Volokong in an eighth. Cameron Dowds gets points, albeit 2. He gets points in ninth position.
So does Casper.
He carries on right toward the end, and Casper Flack somehow gets points as well there in P10. Marvellous race. Matteo took the race win. I was wrong, and I'll admit I was wrong. Rens Thomason there in second, just didn't have enough to hang on to the tyres. The gap came down too quickly. Matteo was audacious going for a move, by the way, for the race lead around the outside of Mirabel Bass. Got the move done, got the race fed. Doesn't get award of driver of the day, but he definitely is from me.
Well, to be fair, he knew that Rens could probably park it through the final sector if he didn't overtake. But wow, you certainly can't say that was a boring Monaco Grand Prix. Howler from Mystic James, or whatever he calls himself, with that strategy prediction at the end. But we won't hold that one against you. Incredible job from Matteo, from Rens. I really can't commend them enough, because that was great. That was fantastic.
And I'm going to say this now. Can we go to Monaco every week?
No, this is a very rare occasion.
Oh, absolutely marvellous
Oh,
racing.
great. I'm not getting the results again.
Yeah, and I'm not on my end either, so guess the results.
You know who won, folks. It was Matteo in first, Rens in second, Oscar in third, then I think it was Ryder Dahl in fourth, Cameron got ninth, and then Casper Flack got 10th. I think that's about it, as we are going to try and get an interview with our podium placers. And James, I think this is going to be an exciting interview, although they all might be knackered after it. After the race, sorry, not the interview. We're not that bad.
Yeah, they might be knackered after the interview as well. Who knows?
Yeah,
but
true.
honestly, with how that race transpired, Rens Thomason had, I think, 3 opportunities to win that race. One was taken out of his hands by the weather conditions. One was taken out of his hands by Matteo's brilliance out on track. And then, I can't think of the third scenario that he was in, but he had 3 opportunities to win that race. He was clear by 2.5 seconds over Matteo at one stage. Matteo dropped the ball. His tyres completely went. And in the end, he got lucky. That last VSC that was deployed, he got lucky. And in the end, Rens developed that gap again. Matteo had to try something. Went on the inters, called it absolutely spot on, if a lap early, but still got the race win. Phenomenal win from Matteo. You've got to feel sorry for Rens Thomason. Whether or not that has a direct impact on the season, time will tell.
Sorry if you experienced a little bit of lag on your end there, folks. I accidentally opened Microsoft Edge. That's the genuine excuse. So sorry about that. Hopefully we can get an interview with our podium places. They're not joining as of right now, but we can do our next week preview. Silverstone. It's different, but hopefully as exceptional.
It is different, and it is going to be exceptional, I think, out on track. If Friday night's anything to go by...
Also, folks, sorry, it is December 9th, Silverstone. Obviously, it's not this evening. This is clearly an old calendar graphic.
It is an old calendar graphic. I think we've got 2 more races, or 3 more races even, right up until the end of the season. We have Monaco tonight, then it's Britain, then it's the Netherlands. We've actually got 2 coming up in the next 2 weeks. Silverstone, though, it's my home at least. It's not Evan's home, sadly, next week either. But it is going to be
not
a
necessarily
really...
sadly, James. We kind of fought for that.
It's going to be an interesting one regardless, though. we could see the likes of Cameron Dowd and those get brought into play directly, I think. He had an absolute awful race early on in the early stages, had to try and pick up from somewhere, picked up ninth in the end, got 2 points out of it. Cameron Dowd, I think, is good around this track. Expect the likes of Rens Thomason, Rayen to be up there. Expect it to be a bit like PSGL E-Series. Remember that famous 10 wide moment that we had down in towards Maggots and Beckett's? I think we're going to see that all over again next week.
Well, let's hear from your race winner. I think we are going to have to jump into the waiting room because it doesn't usually... Oh, hold on. I think he has actually joined on his computer. Let's try it first, at least. And yes, it has finally worked. Matteo, congratulations. You have won the Monaco Grand Prix. But first, talk us through that decision to pit for the intermediates.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
So, as all of you know at this point, qualifying not my thing, but luckily I decided to kind of pick the qualifying on the most important day of the season. And yeah, not the best lap I could have done because I had the McLaren ahead of me in sector 3, which kind of impeded me. But yeah, P3 all to play for. Luckily, Ryan decided to start on the mediums. I don't know why, since rain was forecast. And he basically got stuck in the train. So it was a 1v1 with me and Rance because we were just so clear today. For some reason, didn't expect to gap everyone by so much. And I think initially it was faster. But then, yeah, it just went away. I said, I'm going for the win, not P2. I pitted for mediums first. First important decision of the race. Kind of lucky because the virtual safety car obviously had. But then I watched him arrive behind me and I said, I don't know if I would be able to defend because he was actually faster in those conditions. So my engineer told me Inters are 2 seconds faster per sector, and in literally one corner, because I was on the second last corner, I said, I'm going for it. I just decided to pit based just on that information. I thought initially it wasn't the best decision, but then I saw I gained 7 seconds in one lap on Rance, and I said, okay, I might have a chance. But yeah, I didn't expect this strategy to be so much better because in the end I got in by 7 seconds. So yeah, this is what F1 champions do, and this is what I have to do for all of the races that remain for this season to win the second title.
We saw out on track, especially in the dry, we saw you struggling a little bit with a couple of slides and stuff. Were you thankful maybe for the rain? Because in all honesty, it looked like in the dry that Renz was going to beat you.
Yeah, as I said, on hards, I initially thought I was faster than him, but then after the virtual safety car, I lost a little bit of pace. I don't know why. And then after I tried to go for it in turn 1, I just cooled my tires, I think, and I had no rear grip. So yeah, Renz was faster on hards in the second part of the stint. And then in the rain with the mediums, it was just clear, I have to say it. And it was unlucky because we both deserved the win, but it was behind me just for the virtual safety car. So yeah, I just went for it also because I didn't know if I would have been able to defend. If I had, let's say, a 3-second gap at that point, I probably wouldn't have pitted. But as I said, it was so close. It's not the normal dry conditions, so you risk making a mistake and leaving the door open. Therefore, I made this decision to pit, and thankfully it was the right one.
You mentioned that this is what F1 champions do. You are now officially the favourite to win the F1 championship again. What's the mindset? What's the plan going into the second half of the season to do that?
Mindset never changed into this game. Obviously, some kind of difficulty in the first season, can't deny that. But I always stayed positive because I know that I'm still the guy who won the F1 championship on the last game 2 seasons ago. And I know that nothing changed. Qualifying might be worse now, but races might be even better, I'm not going to lie. So yeah, it's always the same mindset, going into every race with the aim to win and eventually bring home the title for a second time, because this is what I race for. Winning titles, winning races, this is what makes me happy, and I hope to do it all over again.
James, any questions?
Yeah, I want to bring up the point that you were on about in terms of losing time on the hards. You were, I think, 2.5 seconds behind at one point before the VSE came out. Obviously, got back closer once again to Rennes. in the end, it was a blessing in disguise because that VSC came out. You decided to come into the pit lane, go on that set of inters. It was starting to rain out on track. It was a stroke of genius, but I thought Rennes had that potentially at least 3 occasions. Talk us through from your perspective, though, how the drop-off was on that hard, because you were losing time to Rennes, and you were definitely making a few mistakes out there as well.
So, as I said, I thought I was faster than Rennes in the first part of the stint. Firstly, I thought it was just because of Rayen being ahead on the slower tire. But then once Rennes had clean air, I saw that I was close to him every lap, every time. So at some point, I decided to have a go at it because, at some point you gotta try and overtake at Monaco, otherwise you're not gonna win the race. I tried to go for it. I don't know what happened. Maybe a little slide that made my temperatures rise, and I think that was the cause for my drop-off. Because when I was able to do clean corners, even though it was harder, obviously, I didn't lose that much time to Rennes. But yeah, obviously, overall in that part of the race, it was just faster, and we can't deny that. And then, the Versa safety car was a blessing, obviously, but I think that if he decided to pit anyway, I would have undercutted him no matter what, because the medium is just so powerful against the hard in that situation. But yeah, that's what happened, and I was unlucky in Qatar, he was unlucky here. It's races.
Yeah, it's racing at the end of the day. Things can happen, and speaking of things can happen, it's Britain next week at Silverstone, my home, not Evan, sadly.
Stop saying that.
It is Britain, though, next week. How do you think you're going to get it on with an 8-point lead going into next week?
So 8-point lead, obviously not enough to talk about the championship in a definitive way, because everyone is just so fast this season. You gotta make absolutely no mistakes in every race. But yeah, Silverstone is a decent track, especially because qualifying shouldn't be too bad, even though I qualified P18 last season there. But yeah, obviously a lot of opportunities to go for overtakes and to make a good comeback in the race if it is needed. But hopefully I will start at the front once again, so that I don't have to go through the wall grid like season 37.
Yeah, you never know what's going to happen, I think, around Silverstone. That is the beauty of racing around there. It's also the beauty of racing, I think, in general. Thank you so much, Matteo. Go and enjoy your evening.
Thanks, James. Thanks, Evan. Thanks to my engineers who did a brilliant job tonight. And congratulations to Rennes for the fantastic race, because we were just so clear today.
Very welcome.
That is what F1 champions do, seemingly, James. I also love the way Matteo always thanks his engineers. I think that's a nice aspect and a nice trait of his. But any final comments on tonight? Because I don't think either of us expected that to be the Monaco Grand Prix.
Definitely not. And how the race transpired, and how that VSC, I think, helped as well. The very late VSC that we had, how that helped in things really, really transpired, went through the race. It was an absolute cracker. And in the end, I'm an absolute hater of Monaco these days. I'm loving Monaco on this game. I've got to be honest. Had a good race around there in the other league. Had a good race here tonight. Hopefully more to come. At least it beats me crashing out on lap 2 when I qualified in pole position in LOE around here. So at least it makes up at least somewhat for that.
Well, folks, a really entertaining evening in Monaco. We will, of course, be back next Monday night for Silverstone, the British Grand Prix, and that's bound to be an entertaining one once again. Sorry, folks. Bit of a premature ending to the stream. That's what happens when you hold your finger over the button. Well, what a way to end. Usually the way we end, quite funky, quite dramatic. From myself, Evan Dalton, from James Head alongside me. Thank you very much for tuning in. Stay safe, stay well, and we shall see you in Silverstone. Bye bye.